and welcome to the show. Once again, we have a fabulous lineup of guests to energise and inspire you. And you may be wondering why I'm riding this, so stay tuned.
It's time to wake up your wow with your host, international award-winning speaker, Cath Vincent.
On the show, we hear from Christian Hoff-Nielsen on the fun, easy way to travel, Erica Amour on the orchestral dance phenomenon, and Sean Piper shares his unexpected life story of breaking the cycle. And in the Wild Records recording slot with Jesse Wild, we hear original music from the Vasey Collective.
So now when I close my eyes, the world keeps on spinning by.
All this and more to wake up your wow. Christian, welcome. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for bringing this with you.
Yeah, it's wicked, eh?
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So you probably just travel this way all the time?
I'm electric most days, yeah. It's all about fun and ease, yeah. So it's getting about on bikes, electric, and of course scooters and anything that makes us whiz and enjoy ourselves.
Now you own a string of shops basically dealing in e-scooters and e-bikes.
Yeah, we're bikes and barbers, so the idea is you can have a very nice haircut or a clean, wet shave and walk out of there being mobile and enjoying your life.
Feeling lighter all round.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you first start getting into these?
So in 2012, I moved to Waiheke Island and we just saw buses and cars and noise everywhere. And I thought, this is silly, there was so much an easier way, and between one end and the other end, and Waiheke it's such a short distance. And so we started electrifying bikes and electrifying scooters, and then it got to be about taking the car and having the comforts of that onto the bike, and that's why I brought this helmet with as well, which will actually sort of take the car out to your scooter or your bike.
What?
So it will actually allow you to indicate left, right. But most importantly, it'll allow you to stay connected with the world. So you can take your phone calls, have your Google Maps, you got speakers, microphone, podcasts. And you can even talk with your mates, because this is also an intercom. So if you're riding with your family, you could actually say hello to your kids and not turn left at the next junction, but turn right and tell them to stop for ice cream. And I can actually also switch off, of course, the audio. So when I'm riding with my wife, I can turn her down, which is much better than in real life.
If only we could do that all the time.
Exactly.
I want one of those.
Yes,
Can we get one of those for Jesse?
Yes, you could, absolutely. They're only $150. So yeah, it's got a panic button as well.
Wow.
So if you feel threatened one night, you can actually press the panic button and the St. John's Ambulance and Emergency Services will know where you are.
That's
and
really cool.
can actually respond to you. So if you fall off your bike as well and hurt yourself, it automatically sends out an emergency beacon. Yeah. So if we let this helmet fall and it stays still for 90 seconds, we'll have St. John's Ambulance here wondering what's going on.
That's really state of the art. For $150, that's incredible.
It's crazy, yeah.
So that's great value for a helmet. How much would a scooter set you back?
So the Segway are actually the cheaper ones. They're around $700-800, and that comes with your warranties and everything, and it's relatively quickly paid back in terms of Lime scooters or using others. In that here, well, I don't know, but your average trips would definitely pay it in a year.
Yeah, totally.
And the batteries in them will last years and years. The lithium batteries are now unbreakable.
So, I mean, health and safety is a bit of a consideration with these things.
Yeah, we're learning, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like the horse and the car coming into the world in 1900. We need to know how to ride a scooter and know how to behave around a bike.
Yeah.
And that's a learning curve.
Yeah. And so what would the simple rules and tips be for that?
I'd say definitely start gently.
Yeah. Not like I did.
Exactly. You had a good start. There's a way forward from there. I think, yeah, speed is all the essence, being aware of what it is you're doing, trying not to use the mobile phone as you go, you know.
I don't think I could.
Concentrate.
I don't think I could be doing that.
And yeah, it's easy really. I have not fallen off yet.
Wow.
Many of my customers haven't. What does happen occasionally is that people will do the hedge. So not really worry about the corner, but just continue straight. Straight. Yeah, and the hedge is soft really compared to buses and stuff, because that occasionally of course happens too. But what's nice with a scooter is that you do tend to jump off. Yes. So I see the person in one piece, and people usually come to me with their scooter in millions of pieces because they've jumped off as the car reversed and sort of ended up with a scraped knee, and the scooter has continued. Yeah. There is no seat belt to undo or anything like that, and you are only at a running speed. So if you get off running, you're safe.
Yeah, and they're really popular now. Like, they're everywhere. It's like a kind of phenomenon.
It is really that, yes.
Yeah.
It is, it's again the horse and the cart and the car. So I'm hoping, like in New York, then 17 years from now, when the first car came to New York, it took 17 years for the last horse to leave.
Wow.
And I'm hoping that in 15 years from now, there'll be no more cars in CBD, and we'll all be mobile and something that doesn't make a noise, that allows us to talk with one another, and where there's no road rage, and where we just have fun, because that's really what it's all about, just moving and have fun.
And where did you first encounter them?
Woo, that would have been 10 so years ago.
Yeah.
Then they were heavier, they had no range, and now they're just so together. What's fantastic with the new bikes and the new scooters is that they're so integrated. There is applications on your phone to turn the lights on and tell you how much charge you got, so you can see if you can go to your girlfriend's at night and make it all the way there.
Yeah. So what's the issue with charging? How does that work?
You just plug it in like your iPhone.
Yeah.
And you will very quickly learn to see, just like your petrol gauge, how far you can go on what's left.
Right.
Because everything else considered, you weigh the same tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the path that you'll take home will usually involve the same gradients. So you will know that on a charge you'll get 30 kilometers or 40 kilometers or whatever. And that's what's amazing, is that in terms of distance, you would never do 40 kilometers on a scooter.
No.
But that's what some of them do. Some of them do even do 100 kilometers on a scooter. And I'll challenge anyone to stand up on a scooter for 100 kilometers, because you'd just go, no, I don't want to be doing this.
Is that a challenge?
Exactly,
I'll do it.
I'll do it. So no, the idea is it's shorter distances, it's down to the pub, it's over to your mates.
Yeah.
It's that 10, 15 minutes where we take the car and where it's unnecessary.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, listen, thank you so much for sharing the technology with us today. Thank you.
And enjoy your scooter.
I will.
Up next, Erica Amour on Raving for Grown-Ups.
Erica, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you are the founder and producer of Symphony. What is Symphony?
So, Symphony is a unique collaboration between orchestra, DJs, and vocalists performing the biggest dance tracks of the last 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty special. So, putting an orchestra with DJs is a little unusual.
Yeah, yep. There have been a few collaborations around the world doing something similar, but we're the first event in New Zealand.
Yeah. So you founded it. Where did you kind of get the idea from? Why did you decide, I want to do this?
So I saw a clip of a similar event run in the UK called the BBC Ibiza Proms by Pete Tong and the Heritage Orchestra, and would have loved to have seen the event in New Zealand, but knew that it was going to be some time before it came out our ways, if ever. So I thought, why not make a few phone calls and put it on myself?
Wow, you make it sound very easy. Oh, I'll just make a few phone calls, put it on myself, but it would be a big undertaking.
It was a big undertaking, although it did kind of just start out that way of just, I called the music director of the Auckland Symphony Orchestra, sent him the clip, he absolutely loved it, and said it was definitely something the orchestra wanted to be a part of, and we went from there.
So if you attend, like, what can you expect? I'm thinking, is it for old people who like orchestra? Is it for young people who like kind of dance music?
So it's definitely not a sit-down affair.
Okay.
There's a GA dance floor, which is usually around 1,500 to 2,000 people, depending on which venue you're at. And it is a full nightclub experience. So expect lasers, visuals, state-of-the-art audio. You're in a club, but there's an orchestra there playing the tunes for you.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Let's take a look. Wow, that looks fantastic. So what were the challenges that you faced in pulling it all together?
So trying to organise 90 musicians on stage at any one time can be a little bit of a logistical challenge.
Yeah.
But to be honest, everything else has gone really well. We've definitely had some learnings over the years, but it's been received phenomenally, and every year we keep getting better and improving on what we've done last year. So
yeah. And so, what's your background? How did your background bring you to this point?
So I'm actually a chartered accountant, which
I didn't expect that, I have to say.
Yeah, that's usually the response I get. But I was also a part-time DJ, so I've got a classical background that took me into DJing, and I had a show on George. So that, along with my sort of commercial and business acumen, actually went quite well together to building the show.
Where is the show? Where can we go and see it?
So we're actually doing a tour this year. So previously we've only done shows in Auckland, which have been at the Auckland Town Hall. We've been in Brisbane a few weeks ago at the Brisbane City Hall. We will be putting on shows at the Christchurch Town Hall, 2 at the Auckland Town Hall, 1 in Hamilton Claudelands, and 1 in TSB Arena in Wellington.
Yeah, wow. So that would take a lot to pull off, to tour with 90 musicians and the lights and the everything.
Yeah.
Like, financially, how does that all hang together?
Yeah, so we do actually use local orchestras where we go, which is amazing. So for Christchurch, we're using the Christchurch Symphony. Wellington, we're using Orchestra Wellington, and we worked with the Brisbane Philharmonic as well.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps because, yes, as you said, putting 90 musicians on tour would be a huge undertaking.
Huge bus, you know.
Yeah, but we do tour with our key crew, so our conductor, our lighting director, visuals director, and all our key vocalists. It's definitely a project that is more for the passion than as a big money-making exercise, because it is an expensive show to put on.
Yeah.
But we love it, and that's why we do it.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. And thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
Up next, changing the direction of your life.
Sean, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, you're looking really dapper, may I say.
Well, thank you. It's all part of the image. So.
Gotta look good.
Exactly.
Now listen, you're the CEO of a company called Ep8.
Yes.
And I'm really curious, did you grow up thinking you were going to be a CEO?
It's an interesting question, Cath. So I guess there's a reason for the suit, and there's a reason for why I do what I do these days. I would never have dreamed in my life growing up that I'd end up being the CEO of anything.
Yeah.
The whole reason for the suit is because growing up I had a couple of choices to make. I could either be in a suit like this, or I could end up in a suit like my father did.
So the suit that your father wore?
So the suit that my father wears is one that you often would see in a prison. My father has spent some time inside for the sort of violence that he did to myself and my sister when we were children growing up.
Wow.
I come from that family of Once Were Warriors, sort of slashed with a bit of Gloriavale in there.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, Once Were Warriors is that iconic sort of New Zealand movie around gangs and violence and things like that. Gloriavale is obviously a more religious focused program that we see down the South Island of New Zealand, where it's a religious cult where people are captivated by rules. And I say it's a mix between the both, because for the first part of my childhood it was very much Once Were Warriors. The second part changed into this cultish Gloriavale scene where my father got involved in religion and used religion as an excuse for the violence that he would do and for the lifestyle that he had chosen as we were growing up.
Wow, that would have been a pretty hard childhood.
Yeah, I guess, again, for me, I don't like to think that it's different from what a lot of other people went through in the early 80s, I guess, and late 80s. But it's one that made me, at some point, have to make a choice as to which path I wanted to go on.
Yeah.
There was always that thing on TV that used to say, break the cycle, and I'll never forget it. It was this ad that used to always play, break the family cycle of family violence, and I like to think that that's what I'm working towards these days.
Yeah. And was there a defining moment for you when you saw that choice?
Absolutely. Easiest way to explain this is there was a moment where I was probably about 15 years old, and I'd had a big argument with my father, and I decided to go out and take the car and just get out of town. Hopped in the car, put it into gear, drove it as fast as I could into the fence.
Oh my goodness. Did you know how to drive at this point?
I had no idea,
Oh,
really.
right.
So here I am, crashed into the fence, and my wife's standing there. Now, I say my wife, but at the time I was 15, she was only about 14 years old. So I look out my window and there's this beautiful young lady standing there going, "Are you okay?" And I'm going, "Oh my goodness, I think I'm dead."
And you married her?
Well, yeah, fast forward a few years and funnily enough, I was able to marry her.
Oh, that is so sweet. It's a bit dramatic, but it's sweet.
Yeah, I guess it was that point where you go, I have a choice to make, and I sit there and go, if I want to have that girl, if I want to have that life, I have to go on a different path where my father was taking me.
Yeah.
So those conscious decisions I made, I haven't come from a family of wealth and things like that. I've come from Literally nothing. So I spend my days trying to encourage others that come from that sort of background or from any background. It doesn't matter what you have, it matters what you do.
Yeah.
And that's the choices that I make.
Yeah, and literally you cannot tell what a person has been through just by looking at them.
Not at all. I remember when I was a builder, so as a qualified builder,
So you don't look like a builder either.
Not at all.
You're very confusing.
Exactly. But I started off actually in the workforce as a apprentice and then worked my way up to become a qualified builder. And I remember as a builder, people would look at me and think that I was a well-to-do, middle-class, white European, Kiwi. And people had no clue where I'd come from and the work and the effort I had to put in to actually change from where I'd come from to where I was going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, appearances are always deceiving, hence the suit that I wear today.
Yeah. Where would you be right now if you hadn't met your wife?
That's a good question. It's not so much about that, it's more about, I guess, the choice, would I have made the choice to change? I think eventually, yes, I would have, because it's just that was the moment of change for me, and there were a lot of influencing factors around that. I had an uncle who was really good at bringing me under his wing and trying to put me out of that family cycle as well. And I had obviously other mentors that sort of got around me as well and helped me make good decisions.
Yeah.
Some of them were certainly a result of my wife, meeting my wife. Where would I be today? I think if I hadn't have decided to change, I could still be, I don't know, being just the horrible person that I was being brought up and raised to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I was being raised to be like my father, and that was not something that I want to be. And I look back on that, and there's no way I would ever want to be that, anyone to be like that. And I think it's easy to sit back and go, but poor me, I didn't get the silver spoon, I didn't get things my way. Life's a challenge and it's a struggle, and you've always got to make constant decisions to make it better.
Yeah. How's your relationship with your father now?
I haven't spoken to him for probably 5 years now.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen him. I've tried to reach out. One of the things is that I don't hold any grudges or any bad feelings, ill feelings towards them. I think you've got to find a place to be able to forgive people and move on.
Yeah.
At the same time, I can forgive them without actually wanting to spend much time with them.
Yeah.
I don't want to put my children under that influence these days and have that around them. So he's been in prison. I'm not sure if he's out yet or not, but I haven't spoken to him since we went down the court cases and trying to tidy that up.
Yeah. If he were to see this interview, what do you think he would think or say?
Wow, if he saw this interview, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I really struggle to understand him. I really struggle to understand, I guess, how he can do what he did. But at the same time, I also feel empathy towards him, and I feel like maybe he was just really struggling with a few things himself that demons he couldn't quite get past. What would he think of this interview today? He might not like me talking about it. He might not like me saying what I'm saying. And on the flip side, I hope he'd be proud and go, look, you've made a different path and you're making a better future. So, I'm a father myself, and I know if my kids did better than me, I'd be absolutely proud.
Yeah. So what would you say to a person who's facing some choices in their life and, they can go one way or the other way?
I think what I would say to them is you can't make excuses. And that's the first thing. You just have to accept everything for what it is. I can make a lot of excuses to just be a bum. I could make a lot of excuses to sit at home and do nothing. I could have made excuses to walk away from wanting to work and earn an income and provide for my family. You just got to stop making excuses. Mm-hmm. And people get caught up in, but it's my right, or it's not fair, or there's always some reason. But once you start taking ownership and go, look, I'm just going to own my future. I don't care what's happened in my past. I've got this thing where I want to be the most successful, unsuccessful person you will ever meet.
The most successful, unsuccessful person.
That's it. I want to be the most successful, unsuccessful person you'll ever meet. I think we all fail. Everyone has a story. And so when I hop on stage and I speak and work with different companies and that, I don't go there to go, oh, poor me. And sitting here, I'm not wanting to even go, poor me.
Yeah,
what I want to do is encourage people that you just have to move on.
Yeah.
You have to get back up. If you've made a mistake, if you've fallen over, if you've failed at something, just get back up and try again.
Oh, that's fantastic advice for all of us. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
No problem. Thank you.
Hello and welcome.
Thanks for joining me here today. My question to you is, how confident are you when you speak in public? How confident would you be doing an elevator pitch like this one? The truth is, if you are not supremely confident every time you speak, you're not the best ambassador for your business.
Right.
You're not the one who's going to get that job promotion. And you're simply not the person you were born to be.
She's got a point.
Get happy when you speak and you'll discover confidence you never knew you had. And those results will show up everywhere.
Jessie Wild, here you are again.
Great to be here.
So tell me, who is recording with us today?
Well, for the last couple of years, we've been doing an epic album called The Vasey Collective. And Rob Vasey, an incredible songwriter, got a really good collection of songs together, and we got the most amazing musicians from around New Zealand to perform on it. And we've got a stripped-down version today with Anthony Pickard and John Kemp.
Wow, that sounds exciting. Let's hear from the Vasey Collective.
Let's do it.
When I got the call on the telephone, telling me you had gone, I started to hesitate, didn't know what to say. My heart was beating low, so I stopped and thought for a while. We lost your smile, and it's hard to comprehend that this is the end. Oh man, I'd like to talk with you again, to tell you what you meant to me, my friend. 'Cause it hurts me, I can't lie, since I never got to say goodbye. I hope you understand. So now when I close my eyes, the world keeps on spinning by. Hey, this is never part of the plan. Oh man, I like to talk with you again, to tell you what you make to me, my friend. Life continues on while I sit here singing my song, still not believing that you're gone. So my friend, where could you be, floating around endlessly? Oh yeah, watching down on me. Hey, did you make it through to the other side? Hey, if you made it through, could you give me a little sign? 'Cause it hurts me, I can't lie, I never got to say goodbye. I hope you understand. So now when I close my eyes, the world keeps on spinning by. Hey, this is never part of the plan. Oh man, I like to talk with you again, to tell you what you mean to me, my friend. Oh man, I like to talk with you again, to tell you what you mean to me, my friend. again.
Awesome, guys. Thank you and welcome, Rob. Congratulations on the Vasey Collective.
Thank you very much.
So you wrote the song, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Great. And what did you write? I know there's a big story behind this.
A friend of mine passed away with cancer, and that song there, I got the phone call, and as I got the phone call, I wrote the song straight after I got the phone call. So about 15 minutes later, the song was finished.
Wow.
And when I went through the process of getting it recorded, Ants put a few extra words in there, and that's how it ended up. Yeah, really good.
Because you're a bit of a magnet for musicians, aren't you? You've put together this entire collective. How did that come about?
Wow, it actually happened over a couple of years ago, and with the help of Jesse Wild, we come into the studio, and it all sort of started from there. I had no idea who the singer or the guitarist and all that were going to happen, and so what happened was we sat down, we did the guide tracks, and then slowly people started appearing from all over the place, even around the world.
Wow.
And John and Ants, and yeah, it just grew into what it is now. And I must say, it's just unbelievable who we've got on this album.
It is, and we've been nominated for 4 New Zealand Music Awards for this.
Yeah, 4 awards. Yeah.
And that's pretty incredible. I remember when Rob first came, he had a collection of songs, and I sat down and I said, Rob, you need to sing these. And Rob's, I'm not a singer.
Because you're a drummer, right?
Yeah. Drummer originally.
Yeah.
But I really wanted Rob's take on the vocal, and we did. Rob did most of the guide guitars, and we had a vocal for each song, and that's what we went out to find the other musicians with.
Yeah.
So we just I needed to know how Rob wanted to sing this song, and I think it just worked out perfectly that they got to hear your vocal, and the way Ants took it from there. And Johnny, his guitar playing, everything just came together incredibly well.
I can see that you've handpicked your musicians and really created something spectacular.
Yeah, and the fact that they're playing on all the tracks and having backing singers and that come in, and it's just amazing. You know, getting a world-class singer like Ants and a world-class guitarist like John.
They're smiling behind you. They're like, oh, shucks, stop.
Well, the thing that people don't realise is they only met an hour ago.
Oh my goodness.
1 hour ago, they met each other for the first time, and they just go and bang that out.
I think that's amazing. The people I played the album to, it's got this real live feel, you know, like the band, the guys really know each other. And we did use all live musicians, but yeah, a lot of the people, a lot of people had never met.
So what's it like being part of the collective, guys?
You know, we've had fun and we've made new mates too, you know. I mean, we've all been doing it a long time, but we've made new mates. Like I think we'll be mates now.
We're tight, yeah.
Yeah, we're tight, yeah. You like that?
I think it all starts with great songs, and when you've got great songs, great things are going to happen. And Rob put this all together, and I'm really proud to be the producer.
Congratulations, Rob. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
My thanks to all my special guests, to Christian, to Erica, to Sean, the Vasey Collective, and of course, our very own Jessie Wild. And until next time, don't wait to wake up your wow. You told me not to press accelerate, and I couldn't help it.
And I didn't even get that. I should have gone there. Shouldn't I?